What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about American Horror Story Season 10, and yes, I know that I'm late to this news for anyone who's actually paying attention, but you know what? I wanted to cover it anyway because I have some things to say about it. So Ryan Murphy put on his Instagram that it looks like Season 10 of American Horror Story is a go for an October production launch. He also shared an image that was some kind of a hint or spoilers for the theme of the season. Now, we've talked about this, guys. We know that this has something to do with mermaids. And just given the image that he shared here, I'll put it on the screen. We all know that this is mermaids. This has something to do with aquatic horror. So I don't really know what more else there is to say about that. Whether it's shipwrecked, whether it's some kind of period piece, or whether there's some kind of a cruise scenario, vacation, modern day. Who knows? We just know it's going to be crazy, as he has told us in the past. We're going to get a sex scene between Macaulay Culkin and Kathy Bates. So it's going to be a wild and crazy season. And given last season, which I know a lot of people were on the fence about, I personally really liked 1984, and going in that direction, something a little less connected to the overall story of American Horror Story, would probably be in the best direction for the series for the immediate future, just considering we already have a couple more seasons greenlit. We have a spin-off television show. It's just time to start doing weird, wacky, and crazy things again, instead of really adhering to a formula or an overall story that connects through every single season. And you know what, even before I go any further, I'd say that a lot of that does come from American Horror Story Apocalypse, because while I liked that season, it was kind of weighed down by the burden of having to be the big mega crossover that we had been waiting for years before it came out. And yeah, that was probably way too high of an expectation for me, as well as probably for a lot of y'all. Anyway, I do want to take some time to talk about this, as they are getting down with production in October. I mean, yes, we already know that it's getting delayed until 2021. Yes, we know that maybe we're going to get 2 seasons, if not 3, next year. I'm not even talking about American Horror Story Season 10. I'm talking about if they decide to air it early, then we also might get Season 11, as well as American Horror Stories that will be airing directly onto Hulu, instead of going to a regular cable network. So in a strange way, next year could be literally the biggest year for American Horror Story possible. And considering, as I've talked about on this channel multiple times, the series is so big. I mean, yes, the audience has been dropping over the years, but the series still pulls in a considerable and very passionate fan base. So this would be the biggest year on record, and considering what we already know about it, it might be justified. So who knows if that's what they're going to do, or they can just use Season 10 in the spot where Season 11 was supposed to go and just go from there. But I honestly don't know. The weird thing to me about all of this is this is more of a problem with all of Hollywood right now, because I understand the need to get back to work. I understand the need to get back to production schedules, and people's schedules are already tight as it is, so you don't want to push something back so far that you lose the ability to do anything. But we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and I don't want to get way too divisive on this channel, but I want everyone to remember that. Like, the actors and everyone on set and everything that's going to be happening, not only to film this television show, but literally everything else before the end of the year, probably during fall and winter seasons, like, it's just going to put a lot of people at risk. We're going to be in flu season, along with the whole COVID stuff that's already happening, and I pray for these people. I hope that they have every single safety precaution that they could possibly have, and everyone is safe. People can do their jobs effectively, feed their families, and do everything that they need to do while not having to worry about getting sick and potentially, passing from a global pandemic, just so we can get some entertainment out there. I want to see this season just as much as everybody else, but maybe we're jumping the gun here and we're going back way too quickly. And again, that's not FX's fault, that's not Disney's fault, or whatever Fox conglomerate that still owns and operates the people behind all these FX shows, as well as just everyone behind the American Horror Story filmmaking process and anyone else in the higher-ups who has to make these decisions. It's complicated. There's still part of me that wishes that we could have just taken an entire year off and just kind of lived with that reality. Of course, that isn't realistic in any way, shape, or form, so here we are. This is the stuff that we have to deal with, and just a part of me is trying to live with that and understand the implications of it going forward. I really just wanted to take this video to kind of air those grievances out. I don't really have anywhere else to express them, and I have this platform to really put out my thoughts and opinions about American Horror Story and just everything else. So what are your thoughts on that? You know, we can talk about everything related to this season. Literally, I think the hint is just mermaids. I mean, obviously, killer, sharp teeth, mermaids, those are things that exist in horror. I don't think that this is a very strategic hint. I mean, obviously he knows that people are expecting a certain storyline, but because it's American Horror Story, it's going to be something different than what we expect, but also kind of what we expect, but funny and a little bit dark at places and just all around good humored. We can talk about that later. Right now, I want to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions about next year potentially being a 2, if not 3 season American Horror Story extravaganza, and also whether or not it's smart to go back into production at this time, during this time. I am so conflicted here, guys, and I don't know where else to put it other than this video to ask you all the same question and see where you kind of live in here. So, hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially with this conversation, because I feel like it's super relevant to today's situation. Go as hard as you want in the comments, whether you are against what I'm saying or you're for it 100%. I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a discussion. It's been real.